What's up? It is Teacher Hanah here, and we are live down on the 12th floor in the Panda Center in my classroom today because it is finally here, the day we've been waiting for. As part of our Camp Urban Explorers Ultimate Summer Vacation around the world, we have the Shedd Aquarium here today. And my goodness, they have brought us so many fabulous things. And I thought, wow, I can't wait to share with all my friends bedside individual interviews with different animals that they have brought here so that you guys can see all the fun even if you're up on unit. Starting off with one of the best ones in most of our opinions, and I'm sure Lauren would agree as this is her area of specialty at the Shedd, we have the Magellanic penguin. Excellent, and this is her handler, Lauren. Hi, Lauren.
Hi everybody.
All right, so Lauren, why don't you introduce our friend here?
This is Mercedes. She is one of our 14-year-old Magellanic penguins. She was hatched right at Shedd, and I've been working with her for about 7 years.
Oh wow, 7 years. That's as long as some of you have been alive. My goodness, that must be a pretty cool relationship to have with a penguin.
Yes, it takes a while for us to build up a relationship to be able to come and do things like this so that they trust us and they feel comfortable, but me and Mercedes have a really good friendship.
You can tell she's been just so well behaved and chilling on your lap the whole time. So what are your favorite facts about penguins that you could share with us here?
So a lot of people think, why are they not in a cold area? It's pretty cool in here. We have the AC going, but these guys aren't around snow. And sometimes that's confusing for people. So penguins, these guys in specific, Magellanic penguins, are from South America. So it's a little bit warmer. These guys are comfortable in those warmer temperatures. So we find them in about 60, 70 degree weather, which is really nice. In their habitat, we just throw on a sweatshirt and we're pretty comfortable, and these guys are comfortable too.
Penguin drool.
Penguin drool. It is a risk of being this close to a penguin.
I just learned about that for the first time about 5 minutes ago, so keep it coming, Mercedes. I'll take it all. I love it. And it is so cool that they are from South America because that is the continent that we are currently visiting on our ultimate summer vacation.
Amazing.
There was a question that we didn't want to text because it's so short. Do they have feathers?
Excellent. Do penguins have feathers?
These guys do have feathers. It can be hard to see on her. She probably looks really smooth on the camera, but these guys do have feathers that kind of overlap like shingles on a roof. They have two different types of feathers. So out here, these feathers are waterproof. So when she goes swimming, her skin stays nice and dry. That water just beads right off of her. And then underneath, another hazard of being around penguins, underneath she has downy feathers, and that's going to keep her nice and warm when she's swimming in colder waters.
And a really fun fact too that I learned earlier is that the other handler that you're working with, he said that they can go to the bathroom every 10 minutes.
Yes, yes. Constant
Mercedes.
sneezing, constant going to the bathroom. These are a messy animal to be around.
I love it.
Another one, how many lay eggs? How many eggs do they lay?
How many, and these questions are great. You guys keep calling down and keep them coming. How many eggs do penguins lay?
Penguins can lay anywhere between 0 eggs to 2 eggs every egg laying season, so every breeding season. So it depends, not every egg that these guys lay is going to turn into a chick. Some of them don't. So we've had a couple of eggs at Shedd that we're watching right now. We just got done with our breeding season, so we'll see coming in these next couple weeks what happens with those eggs if they hatch out into chicks.
Interesting. Do you guys do any, I know I have a lot of reptiles at home, and when they lay eggs, sometimes we do like a light testing to see if the egg is actually fertile on the inside. Do you guys do that with penguin eggs as well?
Yes, we call it candling. So we can hold up that egg to a little candle and we can see inside, and we'll actually monitor the development of the eggs. And that gives us a lot of really good data that we can share with our partners out in the wild that are doing research.
Excellent. I know a question that I had from a student. So I'm the teacher here at Lurie, and I go and teach bedside for all of the kids who are here for a little while so they don't have learning loss while they're out of school. And when we were talking about the visit coming up, the most common question was, can penguins fly?
Unfortunately, these guys can't fly anymore. It is funny, when we pick them up, they still flap their wings. They still have that instinct when they're airborne. But these guys are much better built for swimming. You are not the only one that gets that question. We get it all the time at Shedd, because they still have wings, but they just are not wings for flight. They're wings for swimming.
Wings for swimming. Oh, that is so cool. I love that adaptation on them.
These guys can swim up to about 15 miles per hour. And that is very important, because a lot of the hunting that they're going to do is with really fast fish. These guys actually swallow their fish whole, so once they find a school of fish, chances are another animal is probably also going to find that school of fish. So being fast in the water and eating their fish quickly is really important so that they can finish their dinner.
Awesome. And then are there any cool feet facts as we pan in on the close-up of his, they're called flippers, right?
So their feet, so their wings can be called flippers, and then they do actually use their feet to kind of steer themselves, similar to ducks. So their feet are pretty, it's all skin, but it is kind of almost feels scaly. It kind of feels like, you can feel it if you'd like. It kind of feels like, almost like a reptile.
It does, it almost feels like he needs some lotion.
Yeah. They are going to release heat through their feet, because that's a spot that they don't have any feathers on. And then these guys actually also have nails. So I don't know if you can see that
really
on the close-up. These guys will build their nests by first digging out a little hole. So they use these nails to dig out that hole, then they'll build up that nest with different nesting material.
Ooh, how can you tell the difference between a male and a female penguin?
Great question. So most species of penguins, there's different coloration, but with penguins, they are all this beautiful black and white banding, or maybe on their chest and their back. So we don't actually have that difference in coloration between males and females. The way that we're going to be able to tell for these guys is either by taking a DNA test or waiting to see if they lay an egg.
Oh, wild. So this is one type of penguin, and we have a question from our audience out there about how many other species of penguins are there in the world, do you know?
There are 18 species of penguins in the world. We have 2 species at Shedd. We have the Magellanic penguins and the rockhopper penguins.
We always learn about those rockhopper penguins on Bubble Bay, which is our Shedd-sponsored aquatic life show. We actually had it yesterday. It was awesome, and the rockhoppers are just so funny with those little yellow spiky feathers on their head. My goodness. Do these guys hop as well?
These guys don't tend to hop like the rockhoppers do. They can kind of climb. They can hop down from things. They're going to, when they're on land, they're going to be on kind of rocky coastal beaches. But rockhoppers are going to nest up higher in kind of cliffs. So being able to hop is really advantageous for them, but the Magellanics don't really need it.
And are these guys a little bit bigger than the rockhoppers?
Yes. Yeah. So these guys are about twice the size of the rockhoppers.
He's got a pretty thick body looking there, and I'm thinking she might not want to hop around too much.
Do they make a sound, and if so, what is it?
Ooh, do penguins make sound? And if so, what is it?
They do make sounds. They make a couple different ones. So they might make a braying noise, and that is typically either they're calling to their mate or their chick, or they might be telling another penguin that this is their territory and get off my lawn. Sometimes they'll kind of make little cooing noises when they're with their mates. We probably won't hear Mercedes make any noise right now because she doesn't have any other penguins to talk to, but we definitely have a very loud penguin exhibit with everybody talking back and forth.
I'm sure. Oh my gosh, and she's just loving these loveys that she's getting from Lauren right now. Her eyes are like, yes. Come on in. Excellent. And like, how many fish do you think they eat a day?
It depends on the season. So right now, these guys are swimming a ton. They're using a lot of energy, so they need some extra food, although Mercedes is going to take a nap, apparently. These guys right now will eat about 20 fish a day. But if we're in breeding season, when they're spending more time on land, they're not using as much energy, they'll eat a little bit less. And then when we go into their molting season, where they're going to grow in all new feathers, which requires a ton of energy, they are going to increase their diet so that they can use those energy reserves.
When they're first
Oh, what do the chicks eat when they're first born?
The chicks will actually eat regurgitated fish. So mom and dad will eat their meal, and then they kind of digest it a little bit, and then they bring it back up, and the chicks can eat it right out of their mouth.
That's so sweet. All right, well, Mercedes, you look like you are about to just take a nice little nap, aren't you? Maybe could she do a little waddling for us on her way out?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? Can we get up?
She's like, man, this is cozy.
I don't know.
All right, let's see.
Can you walk towards the camera real quick?
Oh, she's doing such a good job.
These guys do like to explore. They're pretty curious about their environment.
Yep. All right, and while Mercedes is going to go back to her other penguin friends in the Panda Center, we are going to get ready to say hello to our next friend, which is going to be Caitlin and a water monitor. So thank you so much, Lauren, and thank you, Mercedes. You were wonderful.
Thank you guys.
And we're back here on the 12th floor at the Panda Center of Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago, and we have the guests that we have been waiting so long for from the Shedd Aquarium as part of our Camp Urban Explorers goes on the ultimate summer vacation. And as we are touring all over South America, we have our next visitor here, and maybe her animals from South America, maybe not, because even though we might learn about animals that we'll see further in our travels in the next coming weeks. So here we have Caitlin. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
And tell us, who did you bring for us to learn about today?
Today I have Flora. She is a Mertens water monitor, and she is a lizard, and there are a lot of lizards in South America, but she's actually from Australia.
That's where we're going next.
Wow, perfect.
So cool. This will be like a little preview. Excellent. All right, so what are your favorite things about water monitors?
So something that I think is really interesting about water monitors is that they're excellent swimmers, but they're also great on land as well, and they can climb. So they can kind of do a lot of different things, and they have very different adaptations to help them do that. So she has some very sharp nails on her that help her climb, but they don't really help her swim. And what she swims with is actually going to be this tail. So I'll take that tail there, and she uses her tail to propel herself through the water, and she doesn't use her legs at all when she swims. Ooh. So when she's swimming, she kind of looks like a snake. She will tuck her legs in and use that tail to propel her through the water.
She gets long and skinny like a snake. Oh, that is such a neat adaptation. That is so cool. Oh.
She's ready for sleeping too.
So is Mercedes the penguin. So let's see, what do the water monitors eat?
The water monitors eat pretty much whatever they can find. So they can run and grab some mice, some different types of rodents, but they can also dive into the water and catch fish. So they're pretty great predators. They're super fast on land, but super fast in the water, and they will kind of hunt whatever they can find.
That is awesome. So no fruits and veggies in their diet?
No fruits and veggies, no.
Very interesting. And how old is she?
She's about 2 years old. She actually just turned 2, and she's still growing. So they can get to be about 3 to 4 feet long. And this tail is just going to get even longer and even stronger. They can use it not only for swimming, but also in self-defense. So they can kind of smack that tail back and forth if anyone comes too close to them.
Very
But
cool.
Flora's pretty used to being near people, so she just kind of lets me
super chill.
hang out with her tail there.
I noticed something on the side of her head, and my bearded dragons have those. I have reptiles at home, so
okay.
I noticed, and they look very much like that. Could you explain what those are?
Yeah, so those are actually her ears. So they don't have those external ear flaps like we do. They just have those holes in the sides of their head, and that's actually a great way to tell lizards from snakes. So all lizards will have those holes in the sides of their heads, and they don't all look the same. I'm sure your bearded dragon might look a little bit different.
A little bit different, yeah.
But snakes won't have that hole in the side of their head. They kind of just have like a flat scale over it.
And what about their sleeping habits? Are they nocturnal or diurnal?
So these guys are diurnal.
That
But-
means they're awake during the day.
But they do spend a lot of their time basking. So reptiles get a lot of their heat from their environment. So our bodies can kind of keep us nice and warm. If we get too cold, we can shiver. These guys can't do it. So they get a lot of the heat from their environment, from the sun, from basking. So what she's doing right now is what she would spend most of her day doing. She would find a nice perch, find a nice warm spot, and just get nice and warm on that perch. So my arm's nice and warm and she's just basking. That's what they'll do all day until they find a fish or a mouse that they would like to eat.
And then I noticed her tongue is forked, and it reminded me of a snake's. Does she also use that for her sense of smell?
She does, yeah. So she does have a forked tongue. It kind of looks like this, and she can smell on different sides of that tongue, so it can help her find her prey. So maybe she doesn't want to chase a mouse. Maybe there's a mouse under a leaf that she can kind of find using that tongue, so she can smell on this side of her body with this side of her tongue, on this side of her body with this side of her tongue.
That is the coolest thing I have heard in a long time. Awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's see. Next, we're gonna have Bakira with a skink. So if you want to check that out, we'll be right back in just a minute. And thank you so much, Caitlin.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Flora. Hey guys, welcome back to our super exclusive look at the animals from the Shedd Aquarium. We are here live in the Panda Center on the 12th floor at Lurie Children's Hospital, and I am so excited to bring to you our next animal to learn about. And whoa, let me tell you, this guy looks so cool. All right, we have Bakira here, and she has a skink. A skink. All right, go tell us, what do we need to know?
All right, so this is Carl, and he is called a prehensile-tailed skink. So sometimes they're also called monkey-tailed skinks. As you can see, he uses his tail to grab onto things. So prehensile just is a fancy word for meaning extra limb. So if you think about monkey tails and how they can grab things, that's prehensile. And if you think about elephant trunks and how they can grab things, that's also prehensile. So Carl's got that special tail that helps him grab onto things, and that's because he lives high up in the rainforest. So in the rainforest, he's going to be climbing branches and perches and things like that. So having his tail be able to grab onto things is really helpful. He also has really long toes, and his long toes also help him grab a hold of things.
Those are some long toes, let me tell you. Are his nails sharp?
His nails can be very sharp, although we have taught him a nail trimming behavior. So what we'll do is we'll grab one toe at a time, just like I am right here, and then we can trim his toenails so they don't get too sharp, just like I trim my fingernails so they don't get too sharp.
It's so cool, his tongue is awesome. So tell me, I love to eat, so tell me about these guys' diet.
Absolutely. So Carl here is strictly an herbivore. So sometimes people call that vegetarian too. So that means he only eats plants. So some of his favorite plants are a nice big salad. So he likes kale, spinach, dark leafy greens, and then he also loves to eat fruits. So strawberries, blueberries, apples, pears, those are some of his favorites.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Now, he is completely the opposite of the other guy we just met.
Yes, our monitor.
The monitor that we met, because that was strictly mice, rodents, fish. And now this guy over here, Carl,
Strictly.
he's all about the plants, fruits, and veggies deliciousness. I love the variety between these lizards. Their species are so incredible.
Yes.
One thing we definitely wanted to know about Flora was nocturnal or diurnal?
Great question. So Carl here is going to be diurnal. So he'll be spending most of his time out in the day foraging. So that means he's going to go from plant to plant looking for those leafy greens and those yummy fruits and veggies. And if you see him sticking out his tongue, it's pretty cute. And he's doing that to actually smell. So a lot of reptiles can smell with their tongues. They have a special organ at the roof of their mouth, and it allows them to figure out where things are. So that's why he sticks out his tongue, so he can figure out his environment. We have a question. Awesome. Will the tail fall off? That's a great question. So he is a skink, and a lot of skinks do have the ability to drop their tails. And when they do that, it's because they feel very threatened. So a predator is nearby or something like that, and they drop their tail to distract the predator, and then they can run away. However, Carl's a little bit different, even though he's also a skink. And so he cannot drop his tail, but his tail is super strong and it can support his full body weight. So it would be really unfortunate if he were to drop his tail. So his species cannot do that, but other skinks can.
If the other skinks drop their tail, do they grow back?
They can grow back, yes.
Okay.
So they're not going to grow back as big as they did previously, but that's where they keep their extra fat. So that's why it's a little bit thick at the base of the tail here. Oh, he's showing ya.
Thanks,
so
Carl.
that thickness is where they store extra fat. So if they do need to rely on that fat storage, they can just use that.
My leopard geckos do that. They
Exactly.
Sure do. And I know that crested geckos, those a lot of our friends have at home, they drop their tail if they're scared from the predators too, and then but theirs don't grow back, and then we call them a frog butt because they have like a little no-tail butt.
Little frog butts.
Okay. Ooh, another question.
We got a question from the 18th floor. They called in,
Yeah.
and it's, do they shed?
Do they shed?
Do they shed? Thank you, 18th floor.
Hi, 18th floor. That's a great question. So he does shed his skin, and he sheds about once a month, so that's pretty often.
That is.
And so what he does, it looks different from a snake. Where a snake shed, it's gonna come off all in one piece. Carl's is gonna come off a little patchier. So right now, he's actually getting close to a shed, and I can tell that based on his color. So you see he has got that light green and the dark green. The darker he gets means the closer he's getting to a shed. And then when he freshly sheds, it will all come off his back, and then he's going to be bright green again. So it's kind of like a ripe avocado versus a moldy avocado.
That is so cool. All right. Well, those were some awesome questions for Carl, and thank you so much,
Of course.
Bakira. And we are going to get ready for Sean and a tortoise.
Awesome. All right.
We'll be right back. Come back in just a second. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey guys, what's up? Teacher Hanah here again, and I am back with another animal from the Shedd Aquarium and their expert. We have Sean here, and he has brought a turtle that he is going to tell us all about. Go for it.
So, joining me here today is Harry. Harry is a red-footed tortoise. Some characteristics that we might see that signify this name is he's got all this bright red color on his head, but also on the bottom of his feet will have this red color as well. These guys are native to the Amazon rainforest. As you can see right now, Harry's kind of going for a little stroll right now, very slowly, as we often associate tortoises with doing. But what these guys do in the Amazon rainforest is they just kind of walk and walk and walk all day. They are opportunistic omnivores. Omnivores meaning they're going to eat both plants and meat. They're going to eat pretty much whatever comes in their path. The whole time they're just walking along the Amazon floor. These guys can cover up to 5 miles in one day. Imagine that tortoise going at that pace, covering an entire 5 miles in a day. But I promise you, he can do it.
That is so cool.
After a very large meal, this is something I like to do as well. After a large meal, they can rest for a very long time. So after I eat a large meal too, I'm probably just going to sit around and digest it until I feel comfortable again to move. After a really big meal for these guys, they can go so long, up to maybe 2 weeks without moving at all. So long without moving that people have found actual termite mounds being built on the back of their shell. Speaking of their shell, being a tortoise or a turtle, that shell is part of their body. So when they're growing, that shell is growing with them. Unlike me, I might outgrow these clothes one day and I'll have to get a new pair of clothes. Harry here, he's going to grow bigger and that shell's going to grow with him. So their nervous system, their blood vessels, their spine, their ribs, it's all part of his shell and he can actually feel it. So some tortoises, I don't know if Harry really cares for it, but you can actually scratch their shells kind of like you're scratching a dog's ear or something. And sometimes they'll really get into it and start wiggling their butt like so, but I don't think Harry is one that really cares for it. Right now, he just kind of wants to move around and walk around like he's doing.
Well, while he's on the move, we actually have a question from one of our viewers in the bedside.
How much do they eat a day?
So about how much do they eat a day? How much food do they eat a day?
So I can tell you at the Shedd Aquarium, we feed our tortoises every single day, and we feed them 30 grams of fruits and vegetables, 30 grams of leafy greens like lettuce, and the occasional we'll give them some bugs, maybe some meat too. In the wild though, they can kind of just eat until they're full, I guess. And
what happens if Harry falls on his back?
so these guys actually can flip themselves back over from their back.
Wow.
We actually see them flip over a lot at the Shedd Aquarium, and they're always able to get themselves back up. It looks a little like they're struggling, but they do get it eventually. And we're always there to help if needed, but they're pretty good at rolling back over. They kind of just like kick their legs, use their momentum to swing themselves back over.
Where you going, Harry?
Get that piece of plastic. So being an opportunistic omnivore, he's gonna try to eat just about anything in his path. Maybe what that was too. Cool thing about being a tortoise, so he's about 27 years old, but he can live anywhere from 50 to 60 on average. Under like perfect conditions, they could probably live to like possibly 80 or 100 as well. So he is a tortoise, which is a type of turtle. So turtles are often much more adapted for swimming in the water. Being a tortoise, he's built more for walking on land. But living in the Amazon rainforest, where there's a lot of rain and a big river, it's going to flood. And if he can't swim, he has adapted to float very well. So the way that his shell and the way his lungs are positioned in his shell, when those water levels rise, he rises right with it. Sometimes when I jump in the pool, I put on my arm floaties and the floaty around my waist, so I don't have to swim either. And he's got that naturally built in with his shell.
That is so neat. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for teaching us all about Harry and these beautiful red features. I have just really enjoyed the underside of his feet are just like fascinating to watch.
You can possibly see he's got all that red on his arms and legs too, and on his face.
Excellent. And how many eggs will a turtle lay at one time?
So for the red and yellow-footed tortoises, they lay about 15 to 20 at a time. Two of our yellow-footed tortoises back at the Shedd Aquarium actually just laid 14 eggs each.
Each? Oh my goodness. But we were learning about the penguin eggs, in which like some of them will produce a chick and some of them won't. Do turtle eggs lean either way? Like most of them successful?
It is possible. A cool thing about turtles and tortoises and reptiles in general, as far as like an actual fertilized egg, I think it's pretty consistent. But whether the eggs come out as little boys or little girls is totally dependent on what the temperature was that the eggs were sitting in.
No way.
So I don't remember the actual threshold cutoff, but it's like 88 degrees or something. And if it's below that, they're female. If it's above that, it's male. And if it fluctuated above and below that, it'll come out as both males and females in the eggs. I don't know if that's the exact number for the temperature, but
that is so cool. All right, well, thank you so much. And in just a second, we will have Harry's friend, a skink, coming with Katie.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Hey guys, what's up? Teacher Hanah here. I am back continuing our crazy animal exploration from South America as we are enjoying Camp Urban Explorers, the ultimate summer vacation. And we have the guests that we've been waiting for all spring to get here. It is the Shedd Aquarium with their variety of animals for us to learn about and ask questions. Animals spark curiosity. If you are checking out an animal that we have here in the classroom and you have a question, please pick up your phone and dial 11111. That's 5 ones. We will get that question answered on air with the experts from the Shedd Aquarium just for you. So here, we are still in South America. We have a new lizard called the
Cayman lizard.
Cayman lizard. And this is James, and he is going to tell us all about it.
So this is Eddie, and Eddie's a Cayman lizard from South America. So you'd find him in the Amazon River. Unlike some lizards that like to live just in trees, Eddie would be most comfortable in the water. So he is a great swimmer, a great diver. He can't get enough of the water. So because of that, that's where he gets his food from. So he's not, he looks for things that don't move very fast in the water, like snails, clams, mussels. So shelled animals, that's his favorite food, and he'll like find them and he'll pick them up and he'll just kind of crunch them and swallow them. So like other reptiles, Eddie likes to sit out in the sun. So from time to time, he'll climb out on a log or a tree that's over the water, and he'll use that time to kind of warm up in the hot sun, just like other reptiles. Also, Eddie is shedding, I don't know if you can see this, but on his foot.
Oh, yes, he sure is.
So like other reptiles, he will shed his skin as he grows. So the bigger he gets, he'll shed one layer of skin, and he'll get a little bit bigger.
Does he shed his whole body at once or just parts at a time?
So it's going to be parts. So it might be, you know, one leg, it might be another leg, it might be part of the tail, it might be part of the head. I've also seen these guys, they kind of help the process, and they'll reach down and they'll kind of pull the shed off, or they'll rub it up against, you know, something like a rock or a tree, something like that. I've also seen them grab the piece of skin and swallow it. So they will do that as well, which I think it's just a natural.
I have a couple
thing.
species of geckos and lizards in my house that definitely love to eat their own skin. It's full of nutrients, I guess. But yeah.
So I don't know if you saw, but Eddie just stuck his tongue out. It's not like a bad thing. Like a snake, he will investigate his environment, and mainly you'll see him when he's looking for food. So like you'll see him underwater, he's searching for food, and he's sticking his tongue out like a snake would to kind of taste the area around him, the air or underwater, and he's looking for things that might be intriguing to him, like maybe a food item or a unique smell, something like that. So for him, seeing all the kids and being here is a really nice experience, and he's like searching around, looking in all different sights and sounds.
Okay, great. We have a question from bedside.
And they're asking, does Eddie have a girlfriend?
We want to know, does Eddie have a girlfriend?
Eddie doesn't have a girlfriend yet, but hopefully right now the Amazon has been closed for a few months and they're doing some construction. But as soon as it opens, Eddie will go back on exhibit in the Amazon, and he'll be with some other lizards, including some girls.
Ooh, well, we wish you the best of luck, Eddie. I know I've noticed on the side he has similar shaped circles, as did the skink that we were looking at earlier.
Yes.
Are those also ears?
So those are ears too, so like he'll pick up sounds through them that'll vibrate in those areas. Oh look, Eddie wants to climb.
Hey, Eddie.
We're gonna switch hands for
Eddie wants to go to the bathroom.
And Eddie just, and that's the way it goes.
That is the way reptile ownership goes, people, I can tell you myself.
But now he's comfortable.
He was doing the potty dance.
But yeah, so he'll those are essentially like ears. He'll pick up vibrations either underwater or in the air, and it'll be sound basically. He also has a really cool inner eyelid, which kind of goes up from the bottom. Instead of going down like ours does, it'll go up, and it helps kind of protect his eye.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen him use it a couple of times. And we'll see if we can get you some tissues. All right, well, thank you so much, Eddie. You were highly entertaining. And I'm sure James would like to go clean himself off now so he doesn't smell like you for the rest of the day.
Awesome.
But we are so grateful that you stopped by, and we will be looking forward to our next animal in just a bit.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, you animal explorers, Teacher Hanah here, back exploring South America and beyond with the experts from the Shedd Aquarium as part of our Camp Urban Explorers Ultimate Summer Vacation. And I'm here with Peyton, and she has a
This is our spotted turtle.
spotted turtle. How cute. Now, if you are bedside and you have a question, I want you to pick up that room phone and dial 11111. That's 5 ones, and ask us a question. And I also have a special thing. I was just talking to Peyton, and I'm like, well, what's this one's name? Because everybody that's come down has had this great name. Well, this baby doesn't have one. Maybe even if you don't have a question, you could call down and suggest a really cute turtle name for us. All right, Peyton, take it away. Teach us all about this one.
Yeah, so this spotted turtle is native to Illinois. So you're going to see this turtle in the wetlands here in Illinois and also further east. They live in the wetlands and marshes, and their favorite thing to eat is going to be bugs. So at Shedd we give them crickets and mealworms, and we do give them some veggies, which they are not super fond of, but their favorite veggie is going to be bell pepper, and they really like papaya too. So that's their favorite vegetables there. A lot of time they spend most of their day swimming in the water too. They're fabulous little guys.
Do they swim fast?
They're pretty quick swimmers. They like to hide underneath the logs underwater, kind of tucked in where they feel safe and where it's darker. But when they're swimming, they can dart around pretty quickly. And for being so small, these guys have a really, they can get really old, being around 65 to around 70 to 80 years old. So they have a pretty long life for such a tiny little guy.
This is super tiny. Usually when I think of like tortoises and turtles, you know, hitting that age, they're those big giant ones, right?
Yeah.
That was actually a question, was does he get bigger?
Does he get bigger? Great
Yeah.
question.
So this turtle here, she's gonna stay about this size. She might grow a couple inches or so. So right now she's about the size of my palm. She might grow to be an extra inch or so, but she stays really small. That's actually one of the things that's causing, or in part of their population decline, is that they're really excellent turtles that people really love having as pets. So some people will go out collecting them when their population can't really handle it.
Oh yeah, so maybe if we see these guys out in Illinois and around, we should leave them be so that they can continue to make babies and be healthy.
Absolutely.
So cute. How about their nails? Are they sharp?
So their nails they can be relatively sharp, but because they're so small, they don't have a lot of strength behind the nails. So she can scratch me if she wants to, but it's not going to break the skin or anything like that.
Another question about the spots. Do they get more as they get older?
Okay, the question is, as these turtles get older, do the spots change? Do they get more spots?
Actually, yes, that's an excellent question. So the spots on their shells, this shell here, the outer shell here, is called the carapace. And when they are first born, when they're little baby hatchlings, they have about one polka dot per scoot here, per little plate on their shell here. And as they get old, some spots might fade and new spots will come up. So you can see she has one spot on each of these scoots, but then around some of the edges, she has a lot more polka dots here. So we think she's a pretty young adult, but she still has a lot of aging left to do, a lot more polka dots she can gain.
She is just precious. I know I have a ball python, a banana ball python, and as she gets older, she gets more dark black spots, like freckles all over her. So I can, when she was a baby, she was just smooth pink and yellow, but now she's got dots all over.
That's fabulous. Yeah, these guys, species has a general behavior patterns, so they have their basic species default setting, kind of, I guess you could say, but they have individual personalities as well. So as you can see while I'm holding her, she's very active, she's squirming around. This is a very sassy turtle. She has a lot of energy. The other spotted turtle that I had brought today, she's a lot shyer, she's quieter, she wants to keep her space until she makes sure that she's safe, and then she'll come out. So I brought our more friendly, more outgoing turtle here today. As you can see her wiggling around.
She's a wiggle, yeah, the wiggle, we're going to name her Wiggles.
Can we see her crawl or not?
We can see her crawl. She's probably going to skitter across. I don't know.
Okay, well,
how fast she can go or where she's gonna go, but if I set her down, she might kind of just try to go somewhere dark.
Where are you gonna go, 3 dots? In a circle?
Are you gonna just go in a circle? Just checking out her surroundings before she's marching along.
Oh my gosh, that is just precious.
Oh, what a cutie patootie. I'm gonna get her before she runs away.
Absolutely. Well, Peyton, thank you so much for teaching us all about her, and we will be back with another animal. All right, campers, get ready for our last animal here from the Shedd Aquarium. I have Katie here, and she has brought something super special for us to check out. Now remember, if you're bedside and you have a question, because man, all these animals just get my brain moving, I want you to dial 11111, that's 5 ones from your bedside phone, and give us a call, and we can learn lots of different things about this
Green tree python, Ivy.
Yeah, Ivy. All right. Katie, tell us what would we love to know about Miss Ivy?
So Ivy is a type of snake that lives in trees. So she wraps around branches, just like you're seeing here today. And she kind of sits up there and waits for her prey items to come. And she pretty much sleeps all day long. So she'll be awake at dawn and dusk. So she'll be sleeping most of the day and then asleep at night, but she's awake in the very, very small time frame of the morning and the night. So she kind of hangs out up here. She does a lot of exploring. You can kind of see her moving around here, and she is sniffing with her tongue right now. So snakes actually smell with their tongues, and she has a forked tongue. So she can tell what side her prey item might be on based on what side she's tasting the air with on her tongue.
That is so cool. We've had a few animals in here today that have had that forked tongue that also use it to smell. And I think it was the water monitor where she explained about the sides of the tongue as well, and we learned all about that. It is so cool. You mentioned the prey. What is Miss Ivy's prey of choice?
So since she lives in the trees, she'll eat a lot of birds, and then some mice and some rodent species too. At Shedd, we feed a lot of rats to them.
That's what I feed my snakes at home. Yep. And does she eat live?
She eats frozen food. So we feed frozen at Shedd just because we know it's safe and it's healthy for the animals.
It is much safer, absolutely, because then the
too.
prey can't attack them, right? And
Yep.
look, wouldn't it be sad if the rat would be able to scratch this beautiful, beautiful animal?
Yeah.
My goodness. And about how old is Ivy?
Ivy is 16. So typically this type of species lives to be about 15 to 20 in the wild. In zoos and aquariums, they're living into their late 20s though.
Get it, girl? All
You're
right.
exploring.
That is super cool. And let's see.
We had a question about what would that help camouflage that color?
Ooh, the blue is actually a genetic variation in their coloring. So they are usually a green color, and you might be able to see it around her face here. Let me turn her around for the camera.
Right by her little cheeks.
Yeah, by her cheeks. It's probably a nice contrast on my sweater here, but she has this really beautiful green color around her face that does help them camouflage usually, but this blue coloring is very, very rare, and you don't often see it. So the blue coloring is just kind of fun and different, but you don't see it in the wild very much.
That is crazy. I know, because I was thinking green tree python, you're holding a blue snake, right?
Yes, and when they're green, they camouflage in those trees so well because they are that very green color that matches the trees and the leaves and everything like that. And the blue kind of works if you're looking up in the trees and to the sky. They might be the same color as the sky.
For sure.
Yeah.
And when they eat the bird, they swallow it whole, right? And
Yes.
digest everything. Wow.
Yeah, it's actually very impressive how their jaws work. So they open this way. They're not on a hinge like ours. So if you touch your face and open your mouth, open and close things, you can kind of feel the hinge a little bit, and then their bottom jaw actually opens too.
Yeah, and then they can just go as wide as they need it to,
Yeah.
right? To fit the
Fit the food in their mouth.
the food in
I
their mouth.
gotcha.
That was a lot of F's on there. Now, with her coloring being so fantastic, have you bred her?
We have not, no. So she lives with her sister Jasmine at Shedd, and they just kind of hang out together.
Okay, and so any plans to breed?
No plans to breed. Their genetics aren't great to reproduce for. So there's a lot of Jasmine and Ivy siblings out there. So their genetics aren't so great to have in zoos and aquariums anymore.
Yeah, that happens a lot in the morph world for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is a wonderful time we've spent with Ivy, and thank you so much, Katie, for sharing all of your knowledge with us and campers. That is going to be us signing off from Skylight TV today. I hope that your brain is full of amazing animal facts And I can't wait to see you on Monday in the Panda Center. If you're able to come down, we are going to do Aboriginal Australian dot art painting at 1 to 3. I just finished making the flyer. Don't worry, I'll send volunteers up with them, and you guys can come on down and do that. And we will see you for camp on the floors Tuesday and Wednesday next week as we hit up Oceania and Australia. Bye, guys.